Hi, this video is going to be about books that I recommend, as well as some new books that I might have acquired fairly recently, things like that. This is not all of my book collection. It's really just a very minute part. But these books that I'm going to show are mainly about, and my eye is bothering me, so I'll probably be winking a lot. But mainly about Wicca and witchcraft. That's what the majority of these books will be covering. So let's get started. The first book, the book everybody knows and mainly love, is Raymond Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. And this is a very good book. It is a workbook, so there are sections where you do exercises. Right here, you do exercises and things like that. He covers a lot of things in this book. I have highlighted sections, of course, but he also does cover runes, and he covers the sabbats, which basically they're covered like in coven form. So some of the rituals that he has in here will have what would the priestess say, or things like that. There's divination, there's the tarot, there, like here's Espot. He has Espot ritual, which it's the covenant. The covener, what the covener would reply would be to the priest or priestess. But it's a very good book. Highly, highly, highly recommended it. I've had this book for maybe between 14 and 12 years. I got it when I was taking Grove classes. Back when I used to live in Brooklyn. It was at a pagan store called Enchantment, which actually was in Manhattan. But that was one of their recommended readings. Another recommended reading that they had was The Witch's Bible, which is written by Janet and Scott Ferrer. That's how I pronounce it, Ferrer. Again, this book is mainly deals with coven work, but there are rituals in here. There's about sabbats in here. There are pictures as well. So it is pictures of like altar setups and so on and so forth. But some rituals. It's a very good book. It is not one that I really draw from, in that majority of it really does deal with coven, and I'm not in a coven, and I'm not really interested in being in a coven. And I actually still have my receipt from when I bought this book. Let's see if it has when I bought it. I bought this book 4/24/1999. So I do the math, but I'm tired. Let's just say I just turned 34. I bought this book in 1999. So if y'all want to do the math, feel free. Another book that I have, which is a book I bought early on, and again, I know this is someone who has been criticized by many, but I really did enjoy this book, is To Ride a Silver Broomstick by Silver Ravenwolf. And my best friend, who also, unbeknownst to me initially, was going through the same journey I was, she bought the second book. Was it the second book? Well, she bought To Stir a Magic Cauldron, and I believe that's the title of it. This book again deals with, it has rituals, it has information on witchcraft. She does have her own certain slant to things, but up to any reader, any learner, anybody, you take what you feel is right from anything you read, not just pertaining to Wicca or witchcraft or pagan faiths or anything like that, but in life you should take what you feel is beneficial, even if it's a philosophy or whatever. Another book that I have, and I think I must have got this, I really don't remember how long, but it's definitely over 5 years. This is Wicca, The Complete Craft by DJ Conway. And again, this is something that discusses everything from, you get definitions, discusses the sabbats, discusses the elements, casting a circle, the quarters, the which is alphabets or basically symbols and things like that. So it even has a little thing here on like hieroglyphics, Egyptian hieroglyphics. It does discuss dedication and initiation, as does Silver Raven Wolf. Another one, and I got this. As you can see, this is old as well because it's the earlier edition. But this is Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. I actually do have the second one, but for the life of me cannot find it, and it probably got lost in the shuffle when I moved out here about 4 years ago. But as you can see, well, got my tabs and more tabs, and this too discusses Wicca. And actually Scott Cunningham's view of the divine is the one that I really relate to. When I first learned about Wicca, I did a lot of searching online before I even bought books. But I came across his definition of the one, and it hit home with me, because that definition is what I have believed. You know, sometimes when people are in quest, they're going through a religious evolution or metamorphosis, some change of some sort, and they're looking into various other religions. Sometimes there are those who, it's in their study, they're like, oh wow, that really makes sense to me, I can really connect with that. But for me, how I knew that Wicca was what was right for me was that when I read his definition of the one, it was like, that is what I believe in. That is what I've believed in for so long. And that's what one of the things that drew me into this path. Another book is, this is on candle magic. Practical candle burning rituals, and this is by Raymond Buckland as well. Another one that I have. And I hate dog ears. I will cut up Post-its and use those as marks. I hate dog earing my books. If there's dog ears, it's not by me. I hate dog earing my books. But another book, this is actually a recent purchase I got sometime this summer, which is The Solitary Witch, Book of Shadows. Solitary Witch by Silver Raven Wolf. And again, this has a lot of information. A lot of information. She covers divination, Wicca, rituals, witch's pyramid, which is one of the need to knows. A lot of information is in this book. Again, I ignore anything that has her particular slant that might be on Christianity and things like that. This is a book I've had for years and years, and I honestly have not even read all of it yet. I do have one marking in here, but this is Earth Power by Scott Cunningham, and it's Techniques of Natural Magic. I've only read some of it, but so far what I've read I really like. This is another book on candle magic. I find that I really am drawn to candle magic more so than anything else. By Patricia Telesco, I'm gonna say. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Exploring Candle Magic by Patricia Telesco. And it has, you know, she discusses, she does have spells in here, but she does discuss the uses of candles, so, you know, the correspondences and things like that. She does have a chapter on Feng Shui in candles, which is one of the reasons why I started picking up this book again. This is a book I've had for many years as well, because I've really begun to get into Feng Shui. Another book, Spiral Dance by Starhawk, and this is mainly pertaining to the goddess mysteries, but it's a very good book to have, very helpful. When I first read it, I don't think I completely read the entire book, and I've begun to reread it again. And I'm going to show another book, which I'm going to have to then stop after, because it is, running long, this video. But this is Everyday Wicca by Zarina Dunwich, and I don't think she necessarily subscribes to the Law of Three, or maybe she does, but not necessarily the harm none, do what you will thing, because she does give spells, or like, I don't remember if it's in this book, but curses and things like that as well, which I don't do curses. But in here she has like incense, so incense for sabbats, daily incense. She does have ritual of initiation in here, different kinds of magic. She does have the wheel of the year, the different gods and goddesses, in different pantheons, so not just Greek. She does have Roman, Portuguese, Teutonic, Babylonian, she does have spell work in here, ritual work. Let's see. What else does she cover? Let me see the table of contents, because honestly it's been years since I've read this one, but I do remember I did like this book. Lunar spells, the wheel of the year, the rainbow of magic, the magic of incense, dedication and initiation, a calendar of the magical year, the magic of verse, and then she has a glossary. So a lot of her books have a glossary. Another book that she had that I did like, and I don't know how relevant it is today because it is an old book, is Wiccan Source Book, which basically is a book of different places in which you can get the metaphysical supplies, so different metaphysical stores, mail order, things like that. Let's see. Okay. Another book I have, now this is not Wicca or anything, is actually a new book I got. It's Creating Sacred Space with Feng Shui. This is by Karen Kensington. I have not really had a chance to really get into reading this book. I've only read like maybe chapter 1 of it, but I did like what I read so far. Another book that I got on Feng Shui, which I don't know if I have it here. Oh yes, the Feng Shui Bible, and it's a pretty handy book to have as well. Very interesting, a lot of pictures, a lot of good information in that book. And while I'm on the Bibles, let me just put you all down for a minute. Try to move my book closer. Think I'd have done that ahead of time, huh? No, because that would have made sense. I also have the Crystal Bible, which I love this book. A lot of information on different crystals. There's with a lot of pictures, references, tells you metaphysical attributes of these crystals and everything like that as well. Then I have the Tarot Bible. The Tarot Bible is by Sarah Bartlett. The Crystal Bible is by Judy Hall. And the Feng Shui Bible is by Simon Brown. the Tarot Bible, which you can see. These are spreads. That's the section that I have marked off there. But tells you the main arcana, the minor arcana. Honestly, can't remember if it has the Fool's Journey in here. I don't remember. But it discusses, you know, you getting into where you need to be mentally to even read tarot, whether it's for yourself or others, or what have you. I'm trying to roll my book over here. This is a book that I really like. Once I started to get into meditation, and then I got into chanting mantras. I also, and this is a book I've had for years, Healing Mudras, which there are hand positions that you would use. And I've had this book for years, and I honestly never really read it until lately. And then I read it, and it shows you different mudras for different things. So there's mudra for trust, mudra for love, mudras for stronger character, mudra for facing fears, mudra for a good morning. I love this book. I like the fact that there are pictures for each one. She shows you how. For those that might be a little bit more complicated to do, as opposed to just, you know, like seeing this picture here, where she also has close-up pictures of her hands in the formation. For some, that if it's not really clear what her hands might be doing. Like, or you have this mudra for gentleness. Well, it consists of more than just one thing. Like, okay, my other hand is full, so I can't quite use it, but you would use both hands like this on either side of your head. But what you would do is, this is how it would start out. So it starts out with your hands open and then fisted. Very good book on mudras. I also have a book of pagan prayers, which I've had for a very long time. As you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but my pages are yellowing. A lot of my books are like this, actually. This book, honestly, I've always been interested in fairies, and I write, as a hobby, I write. And one of my stories pertain to fairies. Actually, that's not true too, but it's different kinds of fairies. This book is Enchantment of Fairy Realm by Ted Andrews, and it does teach you to communicate with nature spirits and elementals. And initially I did get this book because I thought it would be a great reference for my story, because I'd like to research, even though I'm just writing as a hobby. But it has, let's read the table of contents real quick. I'll just read some. So you have fairies, elves, legends, and myths, and it teaches you everything from where you can find fairy mounds, or there's the planes of existence and corresponding subtle beings. Tells you how to contact the Fae. Tells you about different elementals as well, and there are exercises in here. This too, I have not completed the entire book, but I've read a good deal of it, and it's a very good read. Very good. This book is one that I found. My previous book about my divination stuff, that deck is called the Fairy Ring, and I still am not certain if, and this came with the deck on its own. This book for the US is $14.95, but this came with the deck. I can't even tell you how much I spent on the deck because I've had it for years. But maybe it's considered an oracle ring, oracle cards, I don't know. But and you know what, I think it's tarot, because there are suits, but it's not called suits, they're called courts. And this is what you have. You have the spring court, the summer court, the Autumn Court, and the Winter Court. And then you have the Fairy Festival cards, which would, I guess, be considered your major arcana cards, even though they're not many. And then another book, that I recently purchased was Crystal Energies for Your Home. And I've only read some of it so far. It's another one of those basic kind of books, you know what I mean. But some of what I've read is very informative. It does, I don't think they say it, but it does have to do with Feng Shui as well. This is by Ken and Jules, I'm gonna say, Taylor. And then bring this book over. Oh, here's that Wicca source book I was talking about. This is the revised second edition, but this is old as well. This book, because this book was published in 1998. I don't know how up to date these things are, but basically it gives you information on. And I don't think they really have websites, because this is probably, pre-website thing. But it gives you the addresses of various metaphysical shops throughout the world. Mainly in the U.S., but throughout the world. There's also the mail order ones, which again, they don't have websites, because like I said, this was in 1998. Another book by Serena Dunwich, since I'm here, is Magic Potions. Not a bad read. It's okay. I also have, I might as well just list the books I have first, since I have them here. The Wicca Spell Book by Serena Dunwich, and Wicca Garden by Serena Dunwich, because I always wanted to grow my own garden. This I got back years and years ago. I lived in Brooklyn at the time, obviously, and I really didn't have a way of gardening, but I got it. Another book that I have, which told me, one of the things that showed me how long I've been into, because I had a note from my old roommate back in college. And this I got from her in '96. This was, I was actually using this as a bookmark in here. I was very close to my roommate in college. But this is Crone's Book of Charms and Spells by Valerie Wood. And it's been a long time since I've read this book, so I really can't give you much information on it. But I do remember when I did read it, I found it to be very interesting. That's all I can say about that. I also have the Advanced Witchcraft by Adine McCoy. I haven't really read this book, not far into it. I have just 2 years. This is actually yellowing, another one. Love Magic, The Way of Love Through Ritual Spells and Magical Life by Laurie Cabot with Tim Cowan. I also have A Witch Alone, 13 Moons to Master Natural Magic by Marion Green. This is another old one. Magical Aromatherapy by Scott Cunningham. Secrets of Gypsy Fortune Telling by Robert Raymond Buckland. And I'm just gonna go through some of these books now because I'm running out of time. Spellcraft, Creating Magical Objects by Scott Cunningham and David Harrington. I think this might have been one of the books published after Scott Cunningham's death, but don't quote me on it. Again, this is very good if you're into crafting. There are things like making poppets and things like that, but I mainly have this for spell bottles and potpourri, things like that. I think he even has incense in here. I can't remember, but yeah, very good book. This book is falling apart on me. I've had this for a very long time. Everyday Magic, Spells and Rituals for Modern Living by Dorothy Morrison. Again, so very well read. This book I actually did have dog ear. This was before I think I started to have my issue with dog ears. Dog ears. It's actually some OCD thing I have. I don't know. This book is another one that I did buy to help with my story. Celtic Traditions. It is a good read. Druids, Fairies, and Take two. Celtic Traditions, Druids, Fairies, and Wiccan Rituals by Serena Knight. And this book, though it's been many years since I've read it, talks about Celtic roots and shamanism, Celtic gods and goddesses, the Druids, the Fairies, modern Celtic traditions, and the future of Celtic traditions. I don't know if this is a book that those who are studying Druidry would recommend, but I thought it was a good book. But again, as I'm not studying Druidry, you know, there might be things in there that are wrong that I don't know about. I also have Embracing the Moon by Yasmin. I'm gonna say Gail Norn. Whether that's how you pronounce it or not, I don't know. There's another book that I really, as you can tell by my tabs, I really did like. I found a lot of useful information in this. There's stuff for magical purification, information on oils, so creating your own oils. There's the God rituals, you know, I am trying to connect more with the God. Herbs, runes, chants, magical tools, invoking the elements, mainly moon work, moon rituals mainly. Those are the books that I suggest. Maybe I'll do one on actual, this is another one I'm actually currently reading. Hopefully I have time for this, but Idiot's Guide to the Law of Attraction, which I love, as well as, sorry for the bumps and hiccups, The Western Guide to Feng Shui Room by Room, and there are pictures in this one in the middle. And I think that might be it that I have out here. But outside of Wicca and Witchcraft, I am now currently reading Darkest Lie. I love this series. I'm almost going to say it might be my second favorite series, my first being the Dark Hunter series by Sherilyn Kenyon. Great book, read it! Okay, knocked my... Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and blessings to you.